Good morning, everybody. So the beef has been secured, it's marinated, and it's time to put it on the fire. Jules joins us this morning once more. Good morning, Jules.
Good morning.
Monday, how are you feeling?
Well, I think you know how I'm feeling because you witnessed something on the stairs. I hope you report
I
it to
did.
her.
I did.
What happened?
Please report
So
it, sir.
as we were walking in the building, like it started raining, and you should have seen Jules' speed. I was like, man, Jules had speed. Like,
Listen,
I
you
came.
could go up once and that could go fast because it's all of your energy exerted, right? How many
I don't
times
know.
Talk that
can
talk.
you do that?
Talk
Jules,
that talk,
Jules, This
Renata.
will make you know.
Talk that
walk
talk.
walk, run that run, Jules.
He saw my heels. He made a
Yes.
try come up with me, and he
It's
just
a good day
I
for
was like,
came up
Monday.
15
I was like, you
seconds
know what?
later.
I'm
You
gonna give
rested
him his.
this week and you're ready to just run on a Monday for one time. I don't know what happens. Meet me on Wednesday, on hump day, Jules. Let's see what happens.
Oh wow, there we go.
We'll see. It'll be captured for posterity.
Definitely. It's
Good.
on, guys. It's on. But you know what else is on? The conversations, the beef, the speeches. Oh,
Speeches.
The speech is indeed.
so a lot of people have been raving about PM's speech that took place just last week. He was at the summit.
Summit of the Americas.
Summit of the Americas. Thank you for finishing the entire statement. Teamwork makes the dream work, Kev.
Yeah.
And so, what are your thoughts on it? Do you believe it was a courageous? I mean, he called to attention the fact that there was not enough inclusion on places like Cuba, Nicaragua, Honduras, I believe.
Sorry,
Cuba and
Nicaragua,
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Sorry, Venezuela, my bad. Were excluded and so forth. And he also, talked a lot about, what's happening when it comes to us taking attention. So tell us a little bit about what do you feel the speech was like? How was how it fell upon your ears?
Well, we always remember the words of Winston Churchill. It's attributed. It's probably not him who said it. A man who is not a socialist at the age of 20 has no heart. And a man who is not a conservative by the age of 40 has no head. So, for the little socialists that's still remaining in all of us, everybody, when I hear that speech, I like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Watch out, yeah.
I was so.
Talk
Hands
about-
up, eyes
Talk
open,
about that
fist clenched.
$55 billion where they
Yeah.
find France. So it's hell there.
Yeah.
PM, you go.
Right? So it was like, man, you
I agree with
you sucked it to them. Like, wow. But we live in a world of realpolitik, and we have to understand that not only do words have meanings, actions have implications. The Prime Minister, that was the first plenary session, the Prime Minister of Belize was the first leader to speak and the only native English speaker. He's only other than Biden. So it was Biden, and then a youth representative, and then John Briceño was the first head of government to speak at the plenary.
Oof. Well, he brought the.
So
He brought fire,
and,
though.
and Joe Biden is sitting right there, and he blazed him, right? Like he
Yeah.
blazed onto his face, like. So this is the first leader speaking, and we just put you on fire. Awesome, I love it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to be real. Time and place are not a country. We are not Mexico. Mexico's president did not attend.
Yeah.
But as a form of protest against the same thing Mr. Briceño spoke about, Mexico is the second largest economy in the Americas. Mexico can do that. We are not that. We are not that. So I think that, was it reckless? In the context of being the first speech, it was rough. And I believe unnecessarily so. I believe the Prime Minister should have pursued a more conservative path. He used words inexcusable, incomprehensible, unforgivable. Yo, I heard you the first time, bro. Like, you don't have to put it, it's unforgivable, it's incomprehensible. Yo, I got you. So I'm just saying, shot on, you can use that word, it's a past tense.
Okay.
He shot on Joe Biden's head from a great height at a great proximity. And, he was right there. My concern is, I love the speech, but my concern is that the empire always keeps the score. And I remember that when the former government, there was, they always claimed, Michael Perfitt, the former Attorney General, always claimed that the United States had a score against them because John Kerry, the former Secretary of State, called Belize's Prime Minister at the time, Dean Barrow, because they had someone on a cruise ship that had a highly infectious disease I don't recall what it was at the time, but this was like 2010,
Okay.
2011. And he called him to say, I need you all to bring this person on board to get them off the cruise ship. And, we'll make sure that everything is contained. It was something on the level of Ebola, but it wasn't Ebola.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? And it was a tough deliberation for Prime Minister Dean Barrow. And he said, no, we cannot do
Right.
it.
I recall that.
I remember
Right?
that.
So he stood up. And if you hear Mike Perfit say, he was like, police get dinged for that with
Yeah.
tier 3 listings. This is what Mike Perfit said. Tier 3 human trafficking listings. They
Right.
kept us in tier 3 for so many years. We're still in tier 2. But my point is that they operate at that level. They felt that the United States marked Belize for such a small little country to refuse the U.S. Secretary of State after he makes a personal phone call. No, we won't deal with you. So in the same way, one is concerned that while Mr. Briceño's statement was truthful, was righteous, all these things, America will keep the
There's
score.
going to be some repercussion.
There will be, that is the feeling, that there will
Okay.
be some, because you don't shame the man like that. Like everybody who spoke after Briceño was a Spanish
you feel
speaker.
like there could have been another opportunity to deliver such speech? I mean, it's the opening. He's the first speaker. He's
Yeah.
setting the tone basically
Yeah.
for what the
Yeah.
rest of the summit was to be about. If he had said such thing in another speech, would it have the same impact as it?
Well, it wouldn't
Yeah,
have had.
exactly.
And the New York Times called it remarkable.
Mhm.
But it didn't say remarkably good. Right? It
Ooh.
just said remarkable, like, yo, that's remarkable. You blaze a man up. You know,
Right.
you understand Belize. So it was remarkable.
Mhm.
And these things are great. The symbolism is potent. Small countries speaking truth to power of the
And
imperium.
we should. But then
Right?
also, speaking that truth does come with its own
It has a cost.
clash or some cost
Yeah.
with it.
Right.
I-
And obviously your concern is that, well, the country will pay that cost. And
Oh,
we
that
hope
cost,
that is not
okay.
the case. Sorry, didn't put my phone on vibrate. Please forgive me. So
It's unforgivable, Jules.
the hope is that the
Inexcusable.
inexcusable,
I was
incomprehensible.
just gonna say the next. I'm glad
Yeah.
to finish it.
So, we have to see how that plays out, but the empire keeps the score.
Definitely.
That is my belief.
What I was thinking is that it's important to. It was interesting how the U.S. was held accountable because I mean, who holds the U.S. accountable
Yeah.
for what they do?
Absolutely.
And they've been involved in politics of all Latin America and the Caribbean.
Right.
So for me, it was like, wow, you're coming here as a small person telling the big U.S. we need to put you in check. For me, like that really stood out.
Yeah.
Right.
holding
No,
the US
it was a powerful
The level of
and bold
proudness
statement.
I have.
And let us hope.
Yeah.
We did ask the Prime Minister to be on Sun Up today. He said he's considering having some type of press
Press conference.
encounter today
Okay.
to report to Belize on what came out of the summit. My brother, I support you, but I will not applaud because you can't applaud me for doing your job. You never made me do your job. I know it. So you can't start to praise people why you do your job. It's like the public officer saying thank you for the 10%. Not my money. Give me back my money. So I'm just saying. But we'll wait and see that. Hopefully it is going to happen. So we're hoping that will happen. That he will have that
Press
briefing
conference, press briefing.
to report to the people of Belize on the summit, as he is duty bound to do. But I need to also underscore Shyne's comment
Uh-huh.
on that. Shyne is a hard right winger. He has gone against Venezuela in the House of Representatives. Venezuela, who the UDP, led by his father, got hundreds of millions of dollars from, and to whom Belize is factually indebted and always spiritually indebted. For every time you drive around one of those nice fancy roundabouts, you thank Venezuela. So I want to pull up Shyne's remarks here. Shyne said, it begins in his Shyne way, down with dictatorships. These are the statements on record. Down with dictatorships. The concept that because a country gives you financial assistance, then you wholesale normalize and accept their violations of human rights is what is reprehensible. To me, it is nothing more than diplomatic persecution. Countries that oppress their people and rule by authoritarian degrees should be condemned and encouraged to change their ways. So
Wow.
Shyne stands with the far right. And I won't even try to break that down because that's a Fahin thing. But this is a position that he has taken repeatedly to not stand with countries that are oppressed. If you are going to talk about anything, you need to talk about the human rights violation that happens every day, that the United States continues the illegal blockade of Cuba. I mean, that is actually unforgivable.
Yeah.
But always remember those words: inexcusable, incomprehensible, or unforgivable.
Yes.
Those are your words for the week.
Yes, words for the week.
Randomly call it out to people.
Yeah, that's
Like,
inexcusable.
Jules, unforgivable. Just punish
Yeah,
street. I love it.
exactly.
For us. I love it
Right.
for us.
Exactly.
So let's move on.
Move on. Yes. So as we're moving on, let's talk a little bit about Mia and Blinken. What is taking place with that overall situation?
So, Mia Mottley,
Mia Mottley.
she spoke in the second plenary session.
Yes.
And so I think I guys will need sound on this one when I cue it up. So she spoke, and Blinken Anthony Blinken is the U.S. Secretary of State. He chaired that session. So she opened up with a big riff on So Much Trouble in the World, the Bob Marley song, track 1 from the Great Survival album.
Right.
So, so she did a whole 13-minute speech, which was longer than most, but she is a woman given to long speeches. I know there are those among us here who idolize her, but I think it got a little bit, the tire a little bit too inflated. It got a little bit too much, I find her a little windy in her speeches, but if we could hear her extended Bob Marley riff and how she got served at the end of it. Guys, are we able to pull that up?
Bless my eyes this morning. The sun is on the rise again. The way earthly things are going, anything can happen. Mr. Secretary, there is so much trouble in the world. I've chosen the language of Bob Marley this morning, not because I'm an apostle of Bob, as you probably have realized by now, but also because he reminds us of the day-to-day reality of our people and of our citizens. You see men sailing on their ego trip, blast off on their spaceship, million miles from reality. No care for you, no care for me. If I could have sung it, you would have joined me. My friends, there is so much trouble in the world. If we think we've found a solution, it must not, in the words of Bob, be another illusion.
Thank you very, very much, Prime Minister. In the words of Bob, no woman, no cry. Don't shed no tears. Let's act. We can sing a redemption song together.
Bless my eyes.
Like, wow,
Yeah.
right? So, a number of things to unpack there. First of all, super cringy. Like, cringe to the max, for me at least. I found it super cringy, super patronizing, but also, in the context of everything, you blow up your balloon big, full of Bob Marley invective and righteous indignation. And then he just gone with one leap pin at the end and pop,
With a smile to us.
with a smile. Anthony Blinken is apparently the U.S. Secretary of State, so he's the equivalent of the foreign minister. He's apparently well known for his love of music and his diverse music tastes.
Okay.
But wow, like after you say that, you just say, man, you got served. And you got served by just, so she was, just from a purely musical perspective, what she was quoting was like a Bob Marley deep cut. The first track on Survival. Survival is Bob's most militant album, his most focused album, and that track 1. And then he quotes from the Legend album, which is the ice cream album, right? The Legend is the greatest hit. So he quote No Woman, No Cry and Redemption Song. Super patronizing, yo. But you all give me your feeling on it. What did you feel when you heard it, Kevin?
No, it was the same thing as you're saying. Like it was just like he just popped the bubble right there, and I was like, maybe but I did not know he was like well versed in music
Yeah,
too.
no, when you said that, that's what I was like.
I was just like, oh, let me Google some Bob lyrics too, so I can get back to you.
Yeah.
That was my thought. But yeah, it was definitely that. It was just like it was really calling to action as well, that everybody plays a key role in addressing the current situations that we're having. For me, that was it. But yeah, I was just like, whoa.
I really never expected. Like
Imagine how she felt.
I know, and then the thing is, she done it to. So this is my thing. You don't walk off. You done it to your speech. You have nothing to say back to that. So you have to go sit down pretty
Yeah.
at your seat after they done like pop your bubble, and you
Yeah.
don't want to come back.
And you spent
Brush that
13
back.
minutes to blow up this
Yes.
balloon, right? But
I'm a once I can't try. What's I can't wrong?
yeah, exactly. Like I come back, I got some more lyrics. This time I'm going Tupac.
Oh my,
I want you answer me, and then after
I'll bring
Tupac
out the
here, I
biggest
say,
smiles in
"Yo,
it.
keep your head up."
All right, that brings one of the biggest smiles. We don't.
Right.
You know what?
So let's move
Let's keep the war going.
the war going, but at a local level. So we're talking about the war between Tracy Tager Panton and Shyne Barrow.
You know, wow, it's just amazing. The UDP, the sad psychiatric circus called the UDP, it just never leaves tongue. It's just like, oh no, just left tongue. The circus is like, they said circus has come
You
back
have to
to tongue.
fix the rides, man. Come on.
The circus is just staying in tongue. Like, so now apparently Tracy has been removed from the Central Executive Committee as the coordinator for the Central Region.
Wow.
Whatever, it's their internal party thing. Nobody cares and nobody should. But she has been removed
Okay.
because we have a text message, guys, that Shyne sent to her. Of course, everything is sent by WhatsApp and everything is public knowledge. So if we could bring that to the top, Abdul.
Then if you want the disappearing effect.
Good morning, Tracy. It's the first one, Abdul. It's not that one, the first one that we showed.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Good morning, Tracy. Should I do it in the Shyne voice, guys?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please do.
Morning, Tracy. As I told you before, I became party leader. Regional leaders should be elected by their respective delegates in the regions. You were only in the central executive as a courtesy invitation at the urging of the party leader as a goodwill gesture to foster unity. My repeated goodwill attempts to foster unity has not been met with reciprocation. Your inability to attend shadow cabinet meetings and press conferences has left me no choice but to find someone else who will fully engage with the crucial work in the cabinet of defending our democracy.
I shan't go further because, I pushed the Shyne thing to its limit.
Good
Yo.
job.
The Shyne is at its limit.
That's a respect.
You're
bro.
really spending quite some time with it,
My life is Shyne. I'm immersed in the Shyne, La Vida Shyne. But so that's a message. And I read it in that voice because it's just a joke, man. Like, I can't take on a serious, man. This country so needs an opposition. This government is so high on its own supply. And we so desperately need an opposition. And damn guys, they clown
I
around.
feel like they're gonna do a thing. Remember when they when it come together for the carrots? Like I said, okay, something that happened to a
Yeah,
certain
I
degree,
can't-
and then
The nature of the DNA is programmed to be quarrelsome. So she is moved now. She was removed as as the regional leader for the central area.
Yeah.
Right?
I said it
So she was
courtesy
removed. So then,
invitation.
and that requires removing from chat group too. Because she got removed from the chat group of the shadow cabinet and the CC. Now look at the sad situation when we go to the House of Representatives. Only two at the end of the day.
That's the thing.
Right? Only
That's the
two.
thing,
And
yeah.
now, it's just like, so then Tracy responds. Right? So if we can find Tracy's response, I don't have a Tracy voice, sorry guys. So whatever, but she says that on the heels of the parties, whatever, that's just supported the process, etc. As I read the party leader explanation about unilaterally removing me from the Central Executive Committee chat group. I don't mind the removement. No moving from that chat group though. When they remove your whole body look, right? And his shadow cabinet, here's some obvious questions that come to mind. And it's just really sad to read these things. Why has the party leader refused to include the Honorable Patrick Faber in the UDP parliamentarian caucus when Patrick is one of 5 elected officials of the UDP? Well, we asked Shyne at the last House meeting, why is Patrick Faber not there? You all need the help. Why has party leader not insisted that the Honorable Dennis Barrow attend meetings of the House of Representatives or Shadow Cabinet? I've not seen or heard a single missile or attack launched against the Honorable Dennis Barrow, Shyne's aunt, for her lack of participation in both our party and parliamentary affairs? Why is it that Honorable Patrick Faber was never invited to be a part of shadow cabinet or invited to attend a press conference? These questions are legit questions.
Yeah,
I won't
they are.
No,
read
they're
through all of
legit.
them. So, but it just shows the level of core dysfunction right now in the UDP. So, not even Shyne and Tracy are able to get along. We know Shyne and Patrick Faber aren't able to get
They are
along.
not
We know
besties.
Sister B has checked out, right? And we know Hugo Pat is, he's not that guy,
Yeah,
right? Like he can play defense, but he score no points for you,
right.
right? I'm just saying, it's just a sad situation that the dysfunction in the UDP, this intensely quarrelsome
Right.
nature of the party, and Shyne's inability to unite
Yeah,
the UDP or the UDP's inability to unite behind
Yeah.
him. And we said this when he was elected. He was elected by a slender majority. If you do not win by a super majority, you are doomed. John Briceño won by 16 votes over Francis Fonseca in 2008 convention when PUP fell apart, and they stalked him. They stalked him for 4 years until he quit. And then they lost a close election,
Yeah.
which they would have won
Yeah.
had he been in there. I'm just saying they stalked him.
Yeah.
They tried to take away the headquarters. They literally tried to take away the headquarters from the PUP. Right? I'm just saying this is what happened. And it's happening now to Shyne. It's just that everything is now on WhatsApp and it's playing out so publicly.
Yeah, and to make segue into the next conversation, Jules, it's crazy how this is happening internally within the United Democratic Party, but then they're still celebrating the different wins when it comes to village councils. And it's crazy how village councils are so politicized, and people are using it as a benchmark to see, what is the current country's political scene.
And-
But I mean, I'm saying, how can it trickle from central government to this one when central government doesn't, or the UDP doesn't really have their act together, and you're politicizing.
Basically, the
Yeah.
poison the new
Yeah.
people, if you want to call it that.
So, and that's the issue. Politics poisons everything in this country, everything. And the village council elections, I have seen in my career in the media, too long to mention, but over 25 years, village councils never used to be a big thing. Maybe a big village, you'll have some political friction, but now they have become just like general elections in terms of the amount of combustion and the amount of money and the amount of political maneuvering. And the PUDP has poisoned village councils in Belize because politics poisons everything in this country. And they are loving it. They're beating their chests. It's obscene. Oh, no need to stop. It's gross. Because, and more than that, the PUP, which is winning the majority of them, because people are voting for their survival, because they know how petty and personal you politicians are.
That's
PUDP, tuono. They know how petty and personal they are. People are voting for their survival. It's so cynical that you bring citizens to this where they have to use their only democratic right, the only dividend they have. They have to cash that in for survival because of how petty you all are. It's gross what they have done. And so, and my concern is the PUP is taking it as license because the same way the UDP did, everybody loves us. We are so popular. You all are despised. PUDP, you all are despised and feared. Both of you all. Only your party faithful love you, and that is their thing.
So it's like the lesser of two evils, no?
Yeah,
It's
basically.
it's the one who will make you survive right now. People are voting for survival.
Yeah.
People fear you. People fear how petty and vindictive you are.
And being neutral,
Both parties, I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
You all are sick. You all have poisoned everything. You politicians have poisoned village council elections and turned them into just one more way to pay on a way out of everything, to give people this, give people that. Man, it's really sickening. And the government is really taking it now as license that, well, we're more loved than ever. We continue to win. Make we do what we want. And another example of politics poisoning everything is the redistricting exercise, something that needs to be done with absolute, well, what can you expect from the PUDP? But something that has to be done with integrity and to be above board because we're trying to fix our democracy, which is broken. right? It's badly broken. And we're trying to fix it so that it fulfills the letter, the spirit and the letter of the Constitution, that there must be proportional representation in the House of Representatives. That's Stan Creek West, for its great landmass and all its 10,000 registered voters, thereabouts, 9,000 change, cannot only have one representative. When Mesopotamia, Albert, Queen Square,
Yes.
Fort George, all these constituencies barely have 8,000, and yet they have 5 representatives. So I'm just saying, we need to fix it. It's badly broken. And then I put Colette Montejo, the Deputy Secretary General of the PUP, in this, as the supervisor of all the field work. Yo, like, how can we have conflict? Like, you can't get, like, why don't have to get politics? Why can't you hire a technical person?
Yeah.
We don't have
We
technical
have
people.
competent people.
No, but we have to hire PUP. We have to hire for We Party.
Because we'd have to give back to the loyalists, remember?
But it's more than that. We have to pervert this process to make sure it fulfills our political mandates.
Yeah.
That is really gross, and that is something that urgently needs fixing because the democracy is broken and it violates the Constitution, and all parties have been happy to see it continue because they love the concentration of political power in the city. George Price loved it, Said Musa loved it, Dean Barrow loved it. And it is against the Constitution.
There you go.
Every day it is a violation of the Constitution. So please remove Mr. Montejo from the process because it invalidates, it vitiates
Yeah.
the
So we're
public confidence in a process that requires public confidence.
So we're getting informed that we're running out of time.
We're not running out of time.
We got 2 more minutes to do the last one, and I know you're
Okay.
ranting the whole 2 minutes.
COVID, the testing requirement to enter the US is done. First of all, I need to chastise the Prime Minister. You know,
Got 1 minute for you.
yes, quickly, because the Prime Minister is now doctor. He really is a doctor. Dr. Juan Antonio Briceño has downgraded COVID. He said it's just a serious cold. He is more important than any Fauci or any Melissa Diaz-Musa, Director of Public Health and Wellness. Dr. Juan Antonio Briceño, and he's a doctor. He doesn't just play one on TV. He is a doctor, has said that it's a serious cold. So, first of all, the government immediately stopped telling me if you vaccinate or anything. That done. John Briceño finished that campaign by his ridiculous declaration that goes against every public health policy that has been declared. Every week in the cabinet brief, the last 2 paragraphs are, citizens are encouraged to get your COVID vaccine. Citizens are encouraged to do Nathan.
No, serious cold.
Right?
Trip.
You got serious cold. You don't have to miss work. Corner work.
Vic Senior, no
Put
one,
some Vicks.
and you good
Put it on your chest if you feel worse.
All right.
I'm just saying, the Prime Minister, I don't care what the policy is. But the policy has to be consistent.
Yeah.
Every week, the government is putting out public messaging, urging people to get their vaccine. That is obviously finished now because the Prime Minister has said it's just a serious cold. Dude, you have to align your public messaging and your policy. You will know this well.
Definitely.
So that's number 1 rant on that. Number 2, quickly. So the testing gravy train is done. I pay them people must about $225 of various tests, private tests, and the public system I've gone through about 3 as well. My point is that these people made millions of dollars. God bless them for all their overpriced tests and then getting their run. But what has to finish now is the mandatory traveler's health insurance. I looked at the number of arrivals since that was implemented in February 15th. So between February to the end of April, because that's only when the statistics are up for. And I just made a projection for May of about 20,000 visitors. April had 37,000. That's 168% through the airport.
Okay.
Insurance Corporation of Belize has made $1.9 million. Or the insurance provider has made $1.9 million. That's fine. That's how money works.
Wow.
You make it. But my point is that what has been their payout? How much of that $1.9 million gross have they had to pay out in actual claims? If it is more than 100,000, I haven't heard of one tourist being hospitalized. Maybe there's been one.
Right.
If there's been one, there's
Yeah,
been a
people
lot
hush, hush.
since February. So I'm saying that, man, on a don't make 2 million, maybe they pay out 100,000, maybe 150,000. It's still a 99% profit. Yo, pull the traveler's health insurance. It is a sick enterprise scheme foisted with public authority that has run its course. Money get make. Money get make. Uno could be happy. $2 million get make. Pull the plug,
Quits,
man.
Call it quits. No.
Call it quits. Call it quits. The game's
Don't make the
over.
money.
Yeah, you know, it's so inimical.
makes sense.
But it's so inimical. How can you tell people, you know, whose country is living in a post-COVID time now, the United States, since you don't have to test to go in, you can go there
You can just-
freely with COVID. How can you tell those people, but you need traveler's health insurance? I'm just saying it's a deterrent to travel.
Yeah.
When you're traveling in big parties of families of 5, 18 US per person, it is a burden.
Definitely
So yeah,
so.
anyway, but let's see if they remove it.
Let's see. To remove or not to remove? That
Indeed.
is the
It's
question.
inexcusable, incomprehensible, and unforgivable if they don't.
is.
Done, done, done.
It is.
But we
Jules,
must
thank you.
go.
Thank you for this grilling, this beef talk this
Yes,
morning.
it was
Yeah.
very much juicy. People, Jules, people to vie for you to make a run for politics, yeah?
I do run away from politics.
And I just want you to know people really appreciated your impersonation of Shyne. They really like you said your song just like her. I just want you to know.
Yo, that's my boy. That's my boy. We go way back.
Yeah. You know what? I nearly feel like I'm answering our Shyne voice, but I can't touch
You
that.
can't touch it.
I can't touch up on that one, but I mean, the running up the stairs, that's a different question. But anyways, with that, we go to our first commercial break. And when we're back, we have NCFC talking about their new parenting show, guys. Tips and what is about, what's time, the date, every single thing. All of these details will be included. Stay tuned for the exciting conversation. We'll be right back.
Yes, thank you.